Hello everyone, good morning. And this morning I watched this video and it's about Tim Shieff, who is someone I know, someone that I've been around quite a lot. And the video is basically about how he's no longer vegan, maybe, and he's experimented with some animal products. So I had a look at his video and he talked about having, I think, tried some eggs or some fish and stuff like that, and he's been really uncomfortable in his body for a while and he's not felt good, and he tried the fast and he didn't really feel good after the fast, and so on and so forth. And I guess I wanted to talk about it. I think Tim sometimes watches my videos, maybe not, I don't know, but I I guess it's funny because a lot of vegans come out against this stuff and they're like totally um, are angry about it and annoyed and upset and everything, and attacking someone and saying, "Oh, that's really stupid," or "Why did you do that?" And then others, people that are into meat and everything, they're like, "Oh, this is fantastic, well done, what a great choice," and all the rest of it. And I just don't really feel either way about it. Like my commitment to veganism, my commitment to my diet isn't really based on any particular other person or their approach, or what they're doing. So I'm not particularly moved by it in that sense. But when I look through it, I my my feeling is, and my idea is that basically if someone starts to eat something, animal products or what have you, whatever, um, or even when people go from raw to cooked food, it's very rarely that they're gonna like have a little bit of cooked food then go back to raw, or have a little bit of meat and then go back to vegan. What we tend to see, the pattern is they go way back to eating lots of meat and all the rest of it and all this stuff. So what we'll find, hope I don't know if that's what he's going to do, if he's already done that, um, but that seems to be basically once you open that door, like when you're vegan, or vegetarian or whatever, you have a closed door to the idea of eating meat, and you basically never really think about it. And he's opened up that door, so there's a good chance he's going to walk through that door. And and I've known a whole bunch of vegans that have done that, that have been very strong vegans or whatever, and they've walked through that door. And how do I feel about all this? I don't really know. Like my history with Tim, I met Tim at the Woodstock Fruit Festival. I didn't know who he was, like Ninja Warrior and all this stuff. I had no clue about that. I don't know why I had never seen this stuff, but I'd never seen him. And in fact, there was a guy that was in the UK that I thought was kind of more well known than him, who was also a parkour kind of guy, who was vegan as well. But actually, Tim was. I didn't realize Tim was way more well known than this guy. And Tim, I didn't really know who he was, but I was at the Woodstock Festival sitting by the campfire, and all of a sudden this guy's literally somersaulting over not just a campfire, but like a bonfire. Like it was a big fire, and he was doing a somersault over the fire. It was ridiculous and kind of scary to watch. And yeah, but that was my introduction to Tim, and then found out a little bit about who he was, and um, had a conversation with him one night, and my impression of Tim has always been that he is like a real searcher. He's like a spiritual seeker, and people might think he is a um, athlete and stuff like that, and into the physical and all that. But he always seemed to me like very kind of spiritual searcher guy. That's the first things he was talking about to me was about like connection and energy and all this stuff. And a friend of mine called Jim stayed in the same cabin with Tim, and he just thought the world of Tim. Like he thought, he compared Tim to like Arjuna in the Upanishads or something, or the Hindu epics or whatever. He just thought Tim was like this alpha male, physical guy, but with all this kind of spirituality in him, and he thought he was a fantastic guy. So, but I always get the impression a little bit, as someone that's been into the spiritual side of things, the conspiracy side of things, that's something that I put a lot of time into. Actually, when I went raw food, raw vegan, it grounded me. and I was much less interested in a lot of that stuff. It really grounded me to reality, which is really fascinating to me. Because a lot of people say they go raw and they get really spiritual, they go out of their body. I don't think that any of that's true. Um, I think maybe that's people who are under eating or fasting or cleansing, short term stuff, short term thinking. But I do get the impression when people talk about energy connection, blah blah blah. Sometimes I get that feeling like probably they maybe have some connection with drugs, hallucinogenics. I'm not saying Tim's a big drug taker, but that's the impression I get from people that start talking like that, and they've kind of got that light in their eyes. They're either a Christian or something, or they're religious or something, or they've got a little bit of experience with, hallucinogenics, drugs, and things that have opened them up. So I guess that was my impression of the guy. And over the years, I've seen him a number of times, and he's been at the UK Fruit Fest, and he's always been great at the Fruit Fest, and people have really enjoyed his talks. He did a talk about his fasting. He talked about magic mushrooms, so I guess that adds up with maybe he does like hallucinogenics and experimenting with that now and again. He also gave a talk about vegan activism in years past, and he's been to the festival for a few days and left, and I don't think he's ever been to the full event. He's probably quite busy, but I've got no complaints about Tim. I always liked his presence, and people really enjoyed his talk. Anne Osborne was saying she really enjoyed Tim's talk in the fasting. I'm always a bit concerned about fasting. I don't really want to promote fasting that much. I've never done a long-term fast. For me, doing 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, whatever you want to call it, on a raw vegan diet is, to me, more powerful than a fast. A long-term diet is more powerful than a fast. A lot of the people that are fasting practitioners will disagree. That's fair enough. I don't currently suffer from any chronic diseases. I don't know. I'm not desperate to fast. Maybe at some point, right? I don't recommend you fast unless you've maybe got some kind of, as I say, disease, painful thing. If you know someone that's maybe had an experience that helped them, but so many of you, I think you're fasting for you want something else that you can't really define. Some kind of healing, some kind of something else. The other thing is, if you are in real pain and sick and whatever, sometimes it's not one fast, it's 2 fasts, it's 3 fasts. If you're severely chronically sick, you might be recommended to do more. And I would suggest go to a medically supervised fast. The only one that I've heard of is the one in True North. It's the only one, but they're really busy. I'm sure other centres will start up, but anyway. So Tim was into fasting. I'm not a big advocate of that. Over the years, Tim had said to me things like, he came up to me once at Woodstock and he said, I'm addicted to cooked food. I still, it's real. He said something like that. It's true. I can't stop eating cooked food. So fair enough. I don't judge anyone for doing that. I know what that feels like. It's hard to get off cooked food. Completely understand. He's got other things going on in his life, his career and stuff. It's probably taken up a lot of his time. So understand that. But he did say in his videos, like, he tried the raw vegan diet, it didn't really serve him. I don't know if he maybe tried it long enough. And for healing, we're talking years of consistent 100%. People none of you realise how much damage you've potentially done to your body over a lifetime. None of you even grasp how much damage you might have done to your body. And how long that takes to heal. It's going to take a long time to heal. Some of you might have started, think about the fact that cancer takes 20, 30, 40 years to actually be so big that people can see it. So a lot of you might have had the start of a cancer, and then you're wondering why you went raw and you're feeling fatigued. Well, maybe your body's trying to deal with the cancer that you developed on your previous diet. I can't say that for sure. I'm just putting out ideas here, but to show you how you can damage your body over time, you don't even realise how damaged it is. So, healing takes time. I've said that many times, but healing takes time, and it seems like Tim was suffering from feeling uncomfortable in his body, feeling things in his bones, and this kind of led him to fast. Tried to fast, and he did do urine drinking as well. He did a lot of that, and I witnessed that. I witnessed him drinking that, and I witnessed, and then I saw the fast, and you know, if I was Tim's friend and saw him all the time, and he respected my opinion, and if he'd asked, I wouldn't have recommended he did those things. That's just my perspective on it. I I I think a real commitment to the fruit is a better focus than some of those things. Um, so I probably wouldn't have recommended that. But I never really got the feeling that he was totally all in committed to the raw diet. Like, even though I know he did try it for periods of time, he came to the festivals, I never got that sense that he was 100% in on it. Um, one time I went to see, I went to the US and I stayed with a girl. Um, Randomly, I contacted her on Facebook and was trying to work out if I could stay with someone, and she let me stay in her mum's house. I was staying in a spare room in her mum's house, and she had hung out with Tim in London, and she said she was kind of surprised that he was eating like kind of junky vegan food, I guess was what she described it as. Um, which I can, once again, I can totally understand. Like, I'm not naive enough to think that cooked food vegans are like eating whole plant-based foods all the time and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna boil it a little bit, steam my vegetables. You know, no, all these channels, Happy Healthy Vegan, all these people, they're going out eating junk food. Like, I know that. I understand that people can't stop themselves from doing that. That's why I'm going. That's why I went raw. You know, I don't want to have those issues. So I don't think Tim was necessarily eating the healthiest diet over the course of time. However, I do think that he was um, uh, eating a vegan diet. 100% believe he was eating a vegan diet, completely vegan diet. Um, Sometimes it may be hard to know if you're eating certain things in certain places, restaurants and things. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's hard to know sometimes if it's all vegan. But anyway, I'm pretty sure he was committed to a vegan diet, and you know, he's questioned how well he feels, and this has made him go back to eating this animal products. From my perspective, I don't see any reason to eat animal products, and I don't have I don't see any information out there to suggest to me that that's going to help me heal from anything. So I have based my thinking on all this on having kind of had these doubts and worries and thoughts and where do I get my protein and all that, and then kind of dived into researching it and looking into it and listening to people and reading the books, looking at some studies. I don't really read a lot of studies, but I've watched the people that have reviewed the studies. Michael Greger. There was a guy that really solidified me on a vegan diet, because I used to think things like, yeah, well, maybe paleo's healthy as well. You know, maybe that's healthy. You know, I used to think things like that. And then I watched this guy called Plant Positive, who no one ever references anymore, but this guy was the best of the best. Like, he was better than Vegan Gains, Happy Healthy Vegan, and Natural Vegan. He put out a couple of video series that were better than all of these people in terms of the science of the vegan diet. I mean, when I started to see Vegan Gains, I was like, Vegan Gains is just taking all this information from Plant Positive. That was, I don't think he was, but it's probably all the same stuff that they found. But that was my impression. And Plant Positive just went through just incredible research and information, and that totally solidified me. That was like, man, the paleo diet is really unhealthy. It's really bad. There's no way I'm going to go back to that, and there's no way that it's as healthy as a vegan diet, right? So Plant Positive is worth checking out, and yeah, but I just think once you've solidified yourself in that knowledge and information and science, then the rest of it, the idea of going back to meat, I truly believe, like, if I went to prison or something and I had to eat meat for a couple of days, I know that that's going to change my mindset, change my gut maybe, and I could see how you could end up eating meat a lot. And that honestly, I just can't see it going any other way. Unless you're a monkey in the forest, you're not going to limit your meat consumption. Like apes will eat a little bit of meat, but it's like, it's very dangerous for primates to go eating raw meat. That's why we don't do it. That's why we don't eat raw meat. But unless you're totally looking to destroy your health, like some of these guys on YouTube, unbelievable. The parasites these guys are gonna get, the brain damage, oh man, it's gonna all come into these guys, honestly. Uh, but anyway, I would just say go back to the science, go back to the stuff. I know that Tim is a searcher. He looks for the truth, but it is very hard for us to really. It's very hard to find the truth in life. So hard, because everyone's got an agenda. I've got an agenda too. You can look at me and say, "Oh, Ronnie promotes the fruit festival, and that's why he promotes. That's the only reason he does raw." It's not the only reason I did raw. I was doing this before I had the fruit festival. Um, I don't mind shutting down the fruit festival. Like I don't really have a big thing like I need to keep the fruit festival going. But I do want to promote the message and all that. But I, it's not something like if it stopped, it would end my whole world. I don't. It's not like I have a big mortgage and I somehow pay it because I make money at the fruit festival. Like I'm not making really money at the fruit festival and stuff like that. Like I've kept it going out of a kind of commitment to it, and honestly, like other people have got more benefit out of the fruit festival generally than I have, and that's fine. That's kind of what it's meant to do. Um, so Tim is a little bit like looks into theories, looks into ideas, experiments personally. Um, but the raw vegan thing just grounded me and made me realize that, and the vegan diet as well, it grounded me and made me realize there's not really magic in this. It's about looking at the real information. Anything that you think is an idea, almost everything has been tried and tested. Not everything. The raw vegan diet hasn't been tested that much, but almost everything is, well, apart from by primates for millions of years, but and by our ancestors for millions of years. But anyway, um, but almost everything, whether it's urine drinking, fasting, blah, blah, like all this stuff has been tried, and we can research it. We can look into it. We can say, is this the right choice for me? Is eating meat going to help me with a particular problem? Um, is uh, you know, is the world flat or whatever? Tim has theories and all these things. Well, it might be worth, like, if you really wanted to investigate that, maybe go and get a physics degree or something. Like if that's really what you're passionate about, interested in, really try and explore, why do we have these ideas? What's the foundation of these ideas? Science is really about observation. Too many people in the raw vegan world say things like, um, "Oh, this chemical industry and it's evil and it's all this and that and it's all toxic products," and and they just have nothing backing up what they're saying. They just say stuff, and even like some long-term raw vegan advocates, they just say stuff. They don't have any science, and science doesn't mean, oh, some guy that got paid to say something. Science is like just observation. Have we observed this to be true? Have we been able to work out a way to observe this theory and see if it has anything resonating in truth? When it comes to urine drinking, we don't have any really science to say that that's a good thing, but it's a theory. Um, I don't think we've got a lot of science behind eating meat being healthier or eating eggs being healthier or anything like that. I think it's the opposite in terms of the nutrition science on that. And fruits and vegetables are the healthiest foods. There's a reason that we believe that, and it comes from a foundation of scientific observation. And I'm not the most sciencey guy either. I've done a lot of things in my life where I've tried things out. Obviously, raw vegan diet and all sorts of stuff. I tried lots of stuff out, but I was anchored in a kind of more scientific or approach by some of the people I followed. And I worry that people follow the Robert Morses of the world, the life regenerators, the whatever, and it's all this kind of magical thinking, magical ideas. They want to get high on raw food. Anyone who wants to get high on raw food, that's a problem. It's not about getting high. That's for drugs. That's your, like for Life Regenerate or whatever, that's his past with having drugs that he maybe wants to recreate. It's not about getting high, right? Spirituality isn't about getting high. None of this stuff's about getting high. And I worry about that. The video's coming up to an end now. I'm coming up to my limit. I hope that Tim, you know, I hope he's doing good. Hope he's feeling well. Would like, I mean, his life is not my. I'm not responsible for his life. So whatever he does is his thing. Anyway, subscribe to this channel if you like. Share the video. Hope everyone's well. What do you think of this topic? And we'll see you in another video.